Hey everybody, Jay Schlansky here from the Fifth Trooper Network. I just want to take a moment to thank you for checking out this show. Did you know that over at thefifthtrooper.com we have tons of other content, including blogs, other podcasts, all kinds of stuff. In addition, if you want access to exclusive content, you can join us on patreon.com/thefifthtrooper and join at any level and you'll get access to exclusive blog articles, access to our private Discord, and much more. So please check us out, and thank you so much for all your support.
Welcome to the Notorious Scoundrels, a Star Wars Legion podcast bringing you the latest news, general perspective, and competitive discussion.
Hello and welcome back to the Notorious Scoundrels podcast. I'm Kyle. I'm here with Mike.
Hey.
What's going on?
Not much. It's Monday. It's been a busy Monday, filled with much World War II shenanigans.
Yes.
So that's fun.
Yeah, we've been playing War Room over a very long period of time, like asynchronously. And, basically it takes like 3 or 4 days to get through a whole turn. But because it is a very long game that is very difficult to finish in one actual sitting, it seems like an appropriate way to do it. But it's fun.
Yeah,
anyway,
for sure.
Mike and I are currently on a team in this asynchronous game that we're doing, and we spent a non-zero amount of what would normally be preparatory time for this podcast talking about strategy for our Worm games. So.
By non-zero, he means we spent double the amount of time we normally prep for the podcast.
Anyway, folks that have not played it, it is a World War II. I think it's fair to call it a grand strategy game, based at least on the size of everything and how long it takes.
I would say it's a grand strategy game in the same way that like a paradox game is a grand strategy game. It is a little bit of a simulation to some degree.
Yeah, it's made by the same Larry Harris, the same guy that did Axis and Allies, and it's basically like he was like, okay, when I initially designed Axis and Allies, the board game consumer base community was not like sophisticated enough for what I wanted my vision to be for a World War II game. So I made Axis and Allies instead. And now here is the game that I actually wanted to make. Because
I feel that in my heart of hearts.
Yeah. And it's a lot. It's super fun, but it's a lot.
It's definitely a lot.
I can't go back to Axis and Allies though afterwards.
Yeah,
yeah. Anyway, this is not a War Room podcast. This is a Star Wars Legion podcast. So we are going to talk about Legion today. We're actually not going to talk. This is not going to be like a strategy or tactics focused episode. We've done that a lot, and we particularly commandos and range troopers we've talked about a lot recently because they're the new thing, and frankly, we're out of new things.
Though we are going to talk about commandos.
But not from a paper's the wrong word. Not from a unit stats usage perspective. We're going to do sort of a review, if you will, of the commando box contents because people have been getting those and putting them together, including Mike. I have not got mine yet, unfortunately. I went to my local Thursday and they didn't have any. So no, not Thursday, Friday, because they weren't out on Thursday. So this is going to be kind of a box contents review. There's some random news items too that we're going to discuss. We got a posting for Bad Batch, a store posting up for pre-order. So we're going to talk about that. This is going to be kind of a smattering of like non-strategy news topics plus a review / rant about the contents of the Cologne Commando box.
Stay tuned. Many rants incoming. Yeah. I promise.
We apologize if this episode is a little bit ranty. We haven't had one of those.
No apologies. This is what the people are here for, Kyle.
Okay. All right.
People are here for the rants.
If you're here for ranty, then you're in the right place this week.
Yeah.
All right. So let's hit some news items first. We got somebody posted the actual Galactic Conquest rules, the updated, not the Galactic Conquest rules, sorry, the Grand Championship rules, which are, I guess, a supplement to the Galactic Conquest rules. They basically say, like, if you want to do a grand championship, you have to use the Galactic Conquest rules and also do these things. Um, there's a lot of stuff in there if you're a TO of a hopeful grand championship. The fact that these are both GC acronyms, it's going to keep
Not
tripping me up.
ideal. Not
Yeah.
ideal. Yeah.
Anyway, and it's my understanding they have not announced. They got like apparently like 400 applications. I guess they haven't announced who's going to get those yet. I'll be curious to see how many they end up with, given that the purpose of this whole system was to like do more tournaments. But anyway, in this document, there's a lot of things about running a grand championship. So if you're TO, I'd check those out. The thing that has been standing out to the community is basically that they added a bit about how you're not allowed to use, quote, digital notes, including timers, uh, which I'm guessing means no phone timers.
I mean, I don't think you have to guess. I think that's pretty clear.
Okay.
And right? I mean, I don't know.
No,
It is a
that is,
timer that
yes.
is digital,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Um, which is a double down, I suppose we could say, on
Yeah.
the no clocks, no timers. I mean, obviously there were many of us at Worlds this year. I think both present company included, that every time a round started, we said, "Hey Siri, set a 2.5 hour timer,"
Yep.
and
And they were immensely helpful.
they were super helpful, right?
Yeah, that I have two problems with this. Um, and actually, neither of them has to do with the actual time rule itself. We've talked enough about that.
Yep.
I don't feel like we need to rehash that. The feedback on that has been almost universally negative. Um, so people know how we feel about that. People know how the community feels about that. Um, everybody knows how everybody feels about that. But I think my takeaway here is that this is kind of like more evidence to me of how feedback is being handled, and that like this whole doubling down on a rule that is extremely almost universally unpopular strikes me as like the beatings will continue until morale improves, basically.
Yeah, I just like I don't know who they're listening to really on this. Like I mean, I don't know. Unless whoever's writing this is like not listening to feedback from the tournament community in any way, shape, or form, I don't know how you walk away from these events and think, you know what we should do? We should double down on this. like
Yeah, we know everybody hates this, but you know what? We're gonna make you even hate it more.
yeah, yeah.
um,
So like I
yeah,
mean I could definitely see a world where like they didn't even solicit feedback really, and like didn't or rather maybe didn't look at feedback and were like, you know what, we're just gonna include digital things in this too, I guess.
but that's
Um
the fact. Yeah, this seems oddly specific, though.
I I
To me,
agree.
this speaks to clearly the fact that they knew that people were trying to keep time anyway,
Yes.
um, because nobody likes the rule.
Because it's bad.
Yeah, and also doesn't serve the purpose that it's supposedly for, which we've talked about. I don't want to get back into that,
Ad
but
nauseum. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't get it. It's my second problem with this is like, are you really asking judges and TOs to enforce phone usage? Like, if somebody's checking their phone during a game, are you gonna be like, "Hey, is that a timer?" You know, like,
Nah, man, it's game up like you know,
right?
like,
Like,
I'm just calculating kill points.
what happens if you just put it in your pocket on vibrate? Like, I'm not advocating for people to try and circumvent this rule. I'm just saying this is like an extra thing that you're asking judges to do that's like not reasonable. You know,
It
I mean,
feels difficult to enforce at a bare minimum.
yeah,
And in a way that is awkward and like unless you just open your event with phones are banned, which obviously is this is like a world where people have obligations that are outside the Legion sphere, that not having access to your phone for 12 hours a day in a tournament is really not reasonable.
right.
Um uh that seems like a tall ask. So yeah, I don't know.
It's very
So
strange.
at the end of the day, this might be moot because it's not enforceable. It's kind of like one of those things that, you know, it's a rule, but it's not really a rule because nobody can. It's like the speed limit, you know? It's like
Sure.
everybody goes 75 in a 65 type situation. You know?
Yeah, and we're gonna see too. Like, I mean, technically, I think the rule says players are not allowed to use digital timers.
Sure.
Could this be a situation where judges copy the X-Wing Worlds judges and just put up a giant clock that counts up?
Right. It's not a
It's a
player,
judge clock.
it's
It's
a
not a
judge
player
clock.
clock. Um, I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens with this. I do not think that people will simply give up and stop trying to figure out how much time is being used in a game.
Yeah,
Um,
it will be very interesting if judges start doing that because it's within the rules, and then there is a triple down, uh,
yeah,
basically
can you
saying
use
that
a sand timer? What about an egg timer? Like non-digital timers?
people just start buying hourglasses.
Yeah, right. Just get an hour long hourglass. I'm sure they make those. Flip it over twice, and then when it's halfway done, you know that you're.
I'm only gonna whip out the hourglass timer when I'm playing against Anakin's.
I hate sand. All right.
Yeah,
Uh, anyway, that's enough on that topic. Um, other news item. We got excuse me, a store posting for Bad Batch,
shall we
which
put the puzzle together?
yeah, we still don't have like a full. Let me actually pull up the posting so that I have the correct thing to be looking at here. Um, excuse me. All right. So releases on July 19th, 2024. I'm not sure if that was known yet before the posting or not, but there it is
Yeah, I think
now
we may
officially.
have had a date, but I don't think we definitely didn't have the post.
And there are two conflicting things in here that are interesting. Um, either way, I think the takeaway is still interesting. The text description for the expansion says that they have three command cards, which is cool. They're an operative. They should have command cards.
Yeah.
The box says that they have one command card. I, I, I think that I'm more likely to believe the box.
Yeah, I mean, I think there has been this will not be the first time that the product description on the Asmodee
Sure.
store
Yeah.
page was wrong, right?
Anyway, we can speculate on what this is, I guess. It's since it's only one, I'm sort of inclined to think that this is like an Omega card, similar to how Grogu's card is.
I don't think so. I
No?
actually I because I think Omega's only takeable in Rebels, right?
Yeah. Right.
So it would I'm gonna be honest, if that's what it is, I'm gonna be pissed.
If Republic Bad
Doesn't have
Batch
a
doesn't get a command card.
and Rebels does,
Yeah.
yeah, I would be not happy about that. Um, like at all. I will riot in the streets if that is the case. Because at the end of the day, like this is really a Republic unit. Yes, you can take it in Rebels, and yes, you can do the thing, but like eh, they're clones.
They're not regs, Mike.
They are not regs, and that's why they get a command card, you know.
Yeah, it would be.
So
I wish they had. I hope that they have three, and that there's, because there's so many cool different things that the Bad Batch does on screen, and that there's the concept of like a multi-model operative unit. I think is really cool. You could have a command card associated with, you could have like a Hunter command card. You could have a Wrecker command card. You could have an Echo command card. Whatever. Like there's lots of different things to do with this, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's an Omega card. That's my guess.
oh man. No, I think it's just Bad Batch. It's got to be Bad Batch.
Okay. What would a generic Bad Batch card do? Like one command card that's just for Bad Batch the unit.
I could see like um I don't know. Tough to say without knowing what all the upgrades do, because I think we have yet to see like Wrecker and Tech.
I think we've only seen Crosshair, Hunter, and Omega.
Okay, so we've still got three left to go.
Yeah, Record, Echo, and Tech, I think.
So notably, sorry, I'm looking at the Asmodee. So the content, the actual content description, as opposed to the text of that article actually says one command card as opposed to three. So there are two places that says one command card.
Oh, okay. So it's definitely one. That's
Yeah.
2 out of 3. Yeah.
Um, it's really funny because it's like rounding out the pack are three new command cards that make use of the Bad Batch unique characteristics and four upgrade cards that invite players to customize the batch to fit their strategies. What I find it interesting because like the upgrade cards, like you can't actually choose.
Yeah, I think the upgrade cards are just the models.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like the text is like, we invite you to customize your squad. It's like, no, 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 no. You
It's okay. Can we talk about this for a second? Are they ever going to print more neutral upgrade cards?
um I,
Because every release since Shadow Collective, which they admitted was like a hybrid FFG AMG thing, has been only the unit and the things that belong with the unit, and that's it. And that was like 2 years ago at this point.
that is a good question. I mean, their design philosophy clearly suggests the answer to that question is no. It seems like.
Which is unfortunate.
But I definitely could see a situation where the design philosophy for generic upgrade cards shifts from a situation where they're in boxes like so. In fairness, I have always hated the premise of upgrade generic neutral upgrade cards releasing in um unit specific boxes. That has never been a feel good in any of the games that FFG has originally developed. People have had to buy entire batches of units that they don't want to use just to get the upgrade cards they want to use in other armies. Obviously,
I think
um,
hang on, let me stop you for a second.
yep.
Because there was a stated policy, at least when Legion first released, that was followed for quite some time, where they basically said that you would always be able to access all of the neutral upgrade cards within your faction. And that, like, if they did like a mirrored release, which they were pretty good about doing mirrored releases for a while, that each of those mirrored releases would have like the neutral upgrades in them, and they would have like the same neutral upgrades.
No doubt.
Um, I get what you're saying though. Uh, I it, in defense of that model slightly, I will say that it helped. Granted, we were also getting more frequently releases, but it sort of helped like build excitement for every new expansion because you're like, even if I'm not interested in, you know, Boba Fett specifically, he's got this cool new card in it, Hunter, right? That's a training upgrade. Like, what of my many units can I use Hunter on? This like it basically created excitement around each release, even if you weren't specifically interested in that release. Um,
I
yeah,
think, yeah, I agree. I think that worked well when we were in the game's first sort of opening salvos, where every faction sort of needed the same things. Like, it was like, okay, we're really releasing the second batch of core units
yeah,
for like Republic, or we're releasing like arcs and BX droids, or stuff like that, where the units you could release for each faction are sort of samey. I think we're at the point now that all the factions for the most part are pretty fleshed out, and the things that they're getting are like fairly unique, right? Like, okay, we're going to release Bad Batch. What what are the mirroring counterparts for other factions for
yeah.
Bad Batch,
Mirrored
right?
releases is only a thing for so long. I will say though that you could still. It doesn't have to be mirrored in a thematic sense, just in a
No.
timing sense. Like, I'd wager most. clone players are getting commandos. I'd wager most Empire players are getting range troopers.
Yes.
Um, there's no currently analogous like Empire and Rebel units because the release schedule obviously has expanded out a little bit. But suppose it was still a little bit compressed, and Rebel and Empire players wouldn't have to wait too long for like the Riot Troopers or the Rebel Insurgents or whatever. You could have a neutral upgrade card that was in each of those four expansions, and it would be reasonable for people to be like, I need that neutral upgrade. I'm going to buy the expansion that's associated with my faction.
It is. I guess what I'm saying is I think that it has the possibility of kind of limiting design space when considering like where they want to go next, right? Um, and it
Yeah,
also makes it, I mean, like, let's be real, the release cadence, particularly for things that are in different factions, is not anywhere close to what it used to be,
yeah,
you
no,
know?
totally. And I mean, I think the way around that to where you still have neutral upgrades existing and new neutral upgrades is to make card packs.
Yeah, that's what sort of what I was gonna say. Like, I definitely could see a world where they are going to produce new generics, and there's just going to be like upgrade card pack 3 in 6 months or something, right? And it's just like, here, buy this $20 card pack, and it's got, I don't know, 40 new neutral upgrades or something, you know. But that would, at this point, I think, be due to the lack of generic upgrades, I feel like that's the only way we're getting new ones.
I think if they were going to do it though, I mean, it's been at least 2 years, so I don't know. I guess we'll see. Maybe
Yeah, for sure.
this was something where I'd be very happy to be pleasantly surprised, but um, I know a lot of people were speculating that they were simply just moving to an upgrade card pack model, which you know was fine, but that was I think enough time has passed where we haven't seen upgrade card packs being announced as a thing um that it's possible they've simply moved to a no new neutral upgrade model.
Yep. Um, I could also see it maybe being included in like an objective pack or something.
Sure. Yeah.
Something that's like fairly neutral that everybody's probably gonna have to buy if they want to play
Yeah.
competitively, sort of situation.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. So anyway, Bad Batch, July 19th, one command card.
Probably.
I I think it's Omega, probably one command card. Maybe it makes it so that Omega gets captured. That seems to be his thing.
For the fifth time.
Yeah. Um,
Hashtag spoilers.
hashtag spoilers. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Omega as a character. I know some people find her annoying, but as somebody with kids, look, kids are annoying. All right. This is what it is. And for personally, I find her charming and interesting, but I do think it is a little bit tropey that she gets captured so much.
Yeah, I that wasn't where I thought you were gonna head with that. To be honest, as someone who like is responsible for children at sometimes these days, I actually was a little bit off put with how like I don't know, um dark that timeline was for those kids. Um
Yeah, that's fair too.
yeah.
I mean,
Right, frankly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, she's an orphan that gets adopted by a mercenary military unit. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just it's I don't know. So
yeah. All right. Anyway, before we get to the commando box, do you want to talk about premium bases, Mike? Because I know you had a
yes,
run-in
I
with
want
this
to talk
topic
about
today.
premium bases. God. Okay. All right. So for those of you that don't know, sorry, this is my super rant. Well,
Okay.
probably my super rant for the day. I may have another one in the box, but we'll see. So for those of you that don't know, my Republic Army is based like physically based on premium bases because they look sweet. They're very
Dude.
cool looking.
And they're easy to
Um,
paint in a way that looks awesome without
yes.
having to like buy extra basing material.
Yeah, it's very easy and it looks great. And everybody that sees my army is always like, "Oh man, your bases look great." And I'm like, "Yeah, it took me literally 2 seconds." Um, and so I bought my commandos, as did every other Republic player in existence. I went to base them and realized I had two premium bases left. which is a problem because I've got to base 12 of them. So I was like, okay, no big deal. I'm gonna go online and I'm gonna buy the premium bases. What do you know? Everybody's out of stock. That's kind of weird. That's never happened before. So I was like, all right, let me go to Reddit and see if like I can find a store that's selling premium bases. What do you know? I find a bunch of posts on Reddit that's like, yo, they're not making these anymore. Uh, and if you actually go to the Asmodee shop for premium bases, it is an error 404 not found. And there's a bunch of emails from Asmodee reps on Reddit saying that they don't produce these anymore. They're just out of production, never gonna make them again. Uh, so I was kind of livid earlier this week, mainly last night when I figured this out until about 2 p.m. today, which we'll get to in a second. And they just don't make these bases. We didn't hear anything about it. Um, and I was kind of faced with a choice of trying to scavenge for these things or mm, take all my guys off their bases and put them on new ones, which I don't know. Um, yeah, I think part of me was wondering if I was overreacting to this, but the more I thought about it, the more like an army is often defined by its base on the table. Like it is the thing that pulls the whole thing together.
Yep.
And um to remove these I don't know, it was an offense that I have not felt this way about for a long time in my miniatures gaming career. It was very close to how I felt when they took all my Warhammer fantasy stuff and took them off square bases and put them on circle ones.
Yeah, I mean, as look, we don't know what their sales numbers are like. I've seen lots of people using these premium bases uh in general, but to your point, like once you start basing an army a certain way, you kind of have to just keep doing it or completely start over.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's like
I have a little bit of base regret with both my Rebels and my Empire because the method is like significantly more complicated and frankly not as good looking, I think, as what I use for my clones and my droids. But I keep doing it because my alternative is to go back and rebase 60 models or however many it is
I
for
was gonna
both
say
those factions.
60 sounds like a low ball.
Yeah, right. Um, sorry, that would be just for one faction.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay.
Uh, and if you've been doing premium bases up to this point and you want to like keep collecting that faction, I, I don't know. I guess you could try and find something very similar 3D printed somewhere, but that's not going to be nearly as good quality as like the hard plastic. I don't know. It seems like a weird business decision.
It's bizarre. It is bizarre. And maybe it was just like one of those things that they're like, we're not I don't know. They make cool bases all the time. Their bases at AMG are much cooler than the FFG ones
Yes.
normally. Like, I don't see why this couldn't exist. Um, and before everybody like messages me tomorrow and is like, "Hey, you can have a bunch of the premium bases that I have. I found some." Don't do that. Um, but yeah, I was able to go to a local store that somebody pointed out that had some stock left, and I was able to buy out their inventory.
Enough to last you for however many more clone releases there are.
Depends on if we get like core units.
Yeah.
If we get like in fairness, I've only got two phase twos assembled, and I still have to put like 28 more of them on bases still. So that'll take up one of the packs I bought pretty much. So anyhow, yeah, wasn't happy about that yesterday, and didn't even kind of stumbled into it a little bit, but apparently they're discontinuing some products.
Yeah, I'm vaguely tempted now to avoid this possible situation in the future to go and buy like three or four packs of that alien colored gamer grass, which
Mm-hmm.
I have like Felicia-ish bases for my clones, and they are very specific colors.
They are. They are.
Uh,
I do the same thing with my droids. It's
yeah,
probably a different color, but
right.
I definitely, yeah, I might
Like
stockpile some.
yeah, like the droids are green, the green grass. So whatever. There's always going to be like some hobby company making green grass tufts, but
Yeah.
the blue and the purple and the orange and the teal and stuff like that. I mean, if that company goes out of business, my clones are going to be in trouble.
Yeah, yeah, for
So,
sure.
um, yeah, I might just after this podcast go buy like 4 boxes of those. All right.
$30
Speaking,
is worth the peace of mind of not having to ever worry about it again.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of boxes, should we talk about the Clone Commando box?
Yes, but I want to start with a different box, and I actually have
Okay.
it right here. I would like to start with a different Republic box. I
Okay.
would like to start with the Wookiee Warriors unit expansion.
Okay. Tell
Okay.
us about the Wookiee Warriors unit expansion.
Yeah, so I'm gonna this is fresh. I haven't this particular one I haven't opened. Um and this box is $35.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to start
Sh
there.
sh should I grab a BX droid unit expansion while we're on this topic?
If you
Just
have an
for
unopened one,
I do
let's do
actually.
it. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
All right. I'm gonna go behind my city here. Just
Okay. Yeah,
one
yeah,
second.
yeah. This is gonna be fun, everybody. I'm really looking forward to this. This was something that I decided to do after assembling some commandos yesterday. Um, all right, you got that BX droid expansion? There it is. Ooh, yours is still in shrink wrap.
Yep.
Nice.
Also, I believe $35.
Let me check.
I don't know
Let
if
me
it's still
just
$35. It
let me
definitely was
the Wookiee
$35.
one on the Asmodee store was still $35 when I checked this morning. Let's look at BX Commando Droid Unit Expansion. It's $39.99. Let me just
Okay.
double check the Wookiee one before I'm lying. Nope, Wookiee Warriors is $34.95 on the Asmodee store.
Okay. So mine is slightly.
Yeah. And as a comparison point, I just want to say the Clone Commandos also $35.
Okay.
34.
Noted. Yep.
Okay, so let's dive into this Wookiee box, shall we? So you know, I think everybody knows how these Legion boxes go. Um we've got our baggie full of tokens, right? And order tokens, right? We've got our little cardboard piece. I'd like to point out that this cardboard piece in this box is missing some things. There's no wound tokens on it, though generally you have copious amounts of wound tokens. There's only one suppression token, so you know if your Wookiees get suppressed, apparently you know no big deal. They're only ever going to have one, but there's 5 order tokens on here for all the different units you can make in this box, so that's cool. There's command cards, unit cards, and upgrade cards in here. I believe how
Well,
many different?
this is the BX one. We got 2 separate order tokens. We have poison tokens because they have poison mines. We have shield tokens because they have
Wow.
shield upgrade possibilities.
Because
So
they can have their shielded keyword on their unit,
yeah, we've
right?
also got some extra surge and aim tokens in case you need those, some suppression tokens, some mine charges, right? Because they have those Diaxis charges that nobody uses. Oh, and a proof of purchase. Not
Nice.
the yeah,
That's old school.
this is old
The Wookiee
school.
box definitely doesn't have that on there.
I actually
Um,
just bought this, so this must have been sitting on a shelf for a while somewhere.
whoa,
Um, yeah, these are the sprues. We got
whoa, all
the
right, hold up. If we're getting to
all
sprues.
right, hang on.
Okay. So we've
Sorry,
got
before we
bases,
get to
right?
sprues, we got unit cards. There's also, by the way, neutral up whoa, shit. Sorry.
Neutral upgrades in there.
Neutral upgrades in here.
Uh,
Um,
oh
I
man,
spoke
look at
too soon.
this. We don't get these anymore. You see this? Look at this.
Oh,
Look at that
instructions.
bad boy.
Yeah. Okay.
Instructions to put the models together.
Yep. Yep.
Um, cool. Shall we get to let's get to the spruce. That's the
Okay.
good part.
All right.
So what do you
Sprues.
got in your BX commando box there?
I have 2 sprues, including actually, I guess this is technically 3 because one of these is the plastic for the shields.
Okay.
Um, These are there's let's see. How many miniatures are actually in this box? There are seven extremely posable miniatures in this box.
Nice. Nice. So the Wookiee
But
box has one, two,
okay.
hold up, one, two,
There's all your arms and legs and swords and guns and shields and stuff.
three,
Yeah,
four sprues. The Wookiee box has four sprues in it.
a lot of spruce.
There is a lot of sprues. There is, I believe, a total of six miniatures with significant options in weaponry, in like little things you can put on their models and stuff. They've got like little sashes and stuff you can glue on there and chunk. Um, yeah, pretty good kit, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Pretty sweet. I'd like to open the Clone Commando box. Here we are,
Okay. Yeah.
unopened, unopened. Um, we've
Also
got our
$35.
also $35. We've got a little rule book thing, which isn't a rule book anymore. It just tells you who did the thing and a little picture. We've replaced the um, you know, in
Assembly
assembly
instructions.
instructions
Yeah.
with I don't know, I guess a poster you put on your wall.
No, just
Um,
just just to be fair, those are online now, right?
they are, but
They
if
do
you don't
exist
have the
electronically.
internet or a computer, it's kind of hard to get to them. But yes,
I'd
I know
imagine
that's
most
rare.
people that
I know
yeah.
that's rare. We have the tokens that go with this unit. Notably, this unit natively has shielded. There's no shield tokens in this box. So, and perhaps more importantly, um, the only other Republic box set that comes with a shield token, I believe. You can maybe fact check me on this. Is the Republic Separatist starter, and the shield tokens are from the Droidecas. Feel pretty
E
confident in that.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's right. Because
so
there's never been a shielded unit for
there
Republic
hasn't
before.
correct. So um, the one unit that we have that has shields does not come with a shield token. And we got our bases. Most of this doesn't matter. I really
That
want to talk about the sprues.
the shield tokens must explain the $5 cost difference between them and the BX box.
Obviously, obviously. So let's get to the plastic. There are two sprues in here. They are pretty small. They're not posable. There are some options, I guess. Basically, the options are you can decide which gun each guy is holding. That's it. That's the option. Which I guess is
Can they each hold a different gun?
they can. I'm gonna assemble each squad basically holding a different.
Okay.
So like one squad's gonna have pistols, the other squad's gonna have guns, and the other squad's gonna have sniper rifles, which
Okay.
I guess is fine.
Yeah.
But I just two sprues. All right, they're small
Uh-huh.
sprues. Now I'm just gonna hold up all the Wookiee stuff. Okay,
Yeah, that's a
what
lot
is
of
going
plastic
on here?
difference.
I just I don't know. I say this as someone who's just like frustrated generally lately. I just don't understand why this couldn't have had some options, I guess, outside of like which gun you put on the model. It feels like this was like why is there nothing in addition for Delta Squad?
Aren't they supposed
Why
to have like different backpacks or something?
that's what I've been told, I don't know. I might be just like nitpicking here. I don't know. But like I guess I say this all to say that I'm just like a little disappointed in this set. I think it's cool that we got Clone Commandos. I think they are a very iconic and intrinsic unit to the Republic Army. Um, just feels a little light on things that we actually got in this box. That's all.
That's fair. I mean, the don't get me wrong, the sculpts have been very high quality. The poses that they have are good. it definitely feels like it's been getting more and more mono pose and more like repeat poses.
Yeah, and I would say after putting the clone commandos together, I'm not like, I mean, like, they're okay. They're like, I wasn't wowed in the same way that I was like wowed when I put together like Boyle and Waxer and what's the other guy? Cody.
Cody. Yeah.
The guy
Those
whose
are
box it
great.
is. They're
Man,
fantastic
can we talk
models.
about the freaking Boyle sculpt for a
It's
second?
it's my favorite Republic
It
sculpt, I
is
think.
amazing. He's running directly forward. You know, the image from the art is of him running like into fire, right? He's got his head up, like he's not taking cover.
Yeah.
It's a very like Lieutenant Spears like running type pose where he just looks totally fearless as he's like running forward with one foot in the air. It's a great pose. And yeah, I I don't know. You're right.
And
And
I
the
also
ARC troopers were great,
our
also
troopers
fairly customizable,
were
um,
absolutely sick and
all
sweet.
different from each other.
Yeah, I mean there were seven models in that box and they were all
Yeah,
different, right?
yeah.
Um, so I mean there's only four man units in the commando kit. I guess I say this to say that the commando kit is like priced as if it was the Wookiee box or a BX box, and I I I feel like what we got as far as value goes is pretty equivalent to like the Clone Commander box set or a specialist upgrade pack that has four models in it.
How much are those now, by the way?
That's a great question. I don't know. Let me look. I didn't do all my research because I didn't anticipate the questions you were going to ask. Those aren't. It's not actually a commander expansion. It's like specialists, right?
Specialist upgrade pack, yeah. Or there's also like the yeah, there's the upgrade packs and then there's the specialists, I
So the
think is what they're
specialist
called.
personnel packs, they vary. They're somewhere between 25 and $35, it looks like. The separatist one is 35 bucks. But
Okay.
the Republic ones are 30 and the Rebel ones are 25. Notably, the Imperial ones didn't come up on my search, but maybe if I
Well, and the Rebel and Imperial ones are soft plastic,
they
I think
are. They
still.
are. And
Um,
and they're just like they're generally worse sculpts, and I get that. Um, I don't know. This is me just nitpicking. Uh, it's probably fine. Not a thing that we really have to be worried about. But just with, I had somebody shoot me the range trooper contents on Discord today. Let me just pull that up real quick. It's kind of similar, two sprues. There are two models that are identical. The sprues are not identical, notably,
Interesting.
which I think is kind of bizarre. There's really no reason to have duplicate sculpts if
If the
the
sprues are
sprues are
different, because
different.
that's a different mold.
Yes. So
Interesting.
I mean,
Okay.
I guess the reason would be that you didn't want to do another sculpt or whatever, right?
Yeah, I don't know enough about that process to comment on that, except to say, at least from a consumer's perspective, I will happily pay premium prices for like a good sculpt that is posable and customizable.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Once you
sure.
start paying premium prices for stuff that is like monopose and or has repeat sculpts, uh, that yeah, I don't mind shelling out cash for this stuff. Look, I've shelled out some of the cash for Legion miniatures
Yeah.
and for miniatures in general. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think they're still gonna look cool on the table,
They are.
but all my clone commandos are gonna be fist pumping because that's the only way you can assemble them.
Are they all fist bumping?
All of the kneeling dude, the
Oh, I see.
the
Yeah.
kneeling dude is always fist pumping. It's
Yep.
just the only difference is the weapon in their hand. That's it. All of
Is
the
that
poses are always the same.
is that guy quote unquote like supposed to be the unit leader?
I assume so.
Okay.
Nobody, it really doesn't. So one thing that is notable, I guess, about deviation of like the instructions for most. I'm gonna say most because I haven't done the background research on looking at every Atomic Mass Games release. Um, but the ones that I have looked at don't specify which model is which
Okay.
in most of these packs. So like one of the ways that we used to say, okay, this guy is the unit leader, is that when we went to the assembly instructions for uh the pack, it actually told you which one was the unit leader. It was like, he's unit leader assembly A, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, but these days, like the Clone Commando pack is just like, assemble the A model, but it doesn't actually tell you what it is.
Interesting. That,
And
that feels like less of a big deal to me.
yeah, I
Um,
don't I don't have I don't have an issue with it. In fact, I think it's nice that it allows you to kind of like decide which one you want your unit leader to be. Um,
I'm gonna go with Sexy Flanders Commando. That's gonna be my unit leader
sexy,
probably.
sexy Flanders Commando. Which one is that?
Bring out, well, show me the sculpts again. I can tell you.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, the dude on the left. Um,
you,
yeah,
th
it's there.
this guy,
Sorry, you're no other one. Sorry, my
this
left.
guy,
You're
this
right.
guy.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. Okay, all
yeah.
right.
It's like there's a Simpsons episode where Homer goes skiing with Flanders, and Flanders is wearing like a tight ski suit, and
Sure.
he's like wiggling his butt, doing he's basically doing that exact pose that commando's doing. So that's the Sexy Flanders Commando.
I will say when I was putting these guys together, I generally like glue the torso together and then put the legs on. Like that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
standard. The legs look weird if you don't have the rest of the model on
I
there.
bet they do. Yeah.
Like on all of them. It was I had to go back and like check that I had placed it like correctly like several times. They twist a little bit more than the diagrams suggest they do.
Okay, interesting.
The posts are a little bit more open than that, which is cool. No,
Yeah, I think the poses individually are actually pretty cool. It's just all three of your commando units look basically the same. That it
yeah,
becomes
yeah,
less cool.
for sure, right? Um, yeah. Anyways, that's my like ranty Legion like announcement. I'm a little disappointed, but I'm sure I'm gonna wreck a bunch of kids on the table with Clone Commander, so it'll be fine.
They're a very effective unit.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Uh, all right. Well, this has been a non-strategy, slightly ranty episode, but
Yeah,
hopefully folks enjoyed it. And next week we'll have more strategy, probably.
yeah, for sure. I definitely haven't really got to play many games since last time. I will say, I know that you probably can you see this very well? This is the complete the mission token. It's
It's a
it's
little fuzzy, but
yeah. It's the same artwork from the the prize card from the new tournament pack
okay.
for the commando the Delta Squad promo,
Okay.
which is sweet. I gotta say, the full artwork is pretty good. I guess this artwork is also technically the same as the um I guess it's technically the artwork on the back of the cards, just
It's just bigger.
just way bigger on those
Yeah.
guys. Yeah. Um,
Well, it's a cool token.
yeah, it is. And I'm definitely what's interesting to me is that the signs are different. And does that suggest that Delta Squads complete the mission can't be used with with
Interesting.
regular clones complete the mission? Um,
I think it just suggests that they had two separate things to do artwork with.
yeah.
Now here's a question. Is it the same size as like another token? Or is it a different size? Like is it the same size as an objective or a condition token?
I don't actually have one right here, and mine are like buried in my
Oh, that's
box.
fine.
I th I think I think if
I was gonna
I
say
want to
if it
say
is,
yes.
You could use like condition tokens for your complete the mission tokens, and then use your complete the mission tokens as your shield tokens since they're flippable.
There you go. Oh, that's what that. Yeah, there you. Maybe these are the shield tokens, and there is no complete the mission token. Wild,
There you go.
wild.
Maybe that's it. Anyway, I guess borrow shield tokens from your droid counterparts,
Yeah, I
Republic
don't know.
players. Generally, that is a rare token generally because they typically historically would only come
The
with
units that
boxes,
they
the
come
units that
with.
had shield abilities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
yeah. Anyway, we're past that topic. All right. We
are
are
we
the
are we Kyle? Are we past that topic?
all right. We are the Notorious Scoundrels. I'm Kyle.
I am a shield tokenless sad Republic player.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.